we were in business because it was fun. It was a cool product. We wanted to provide that product to more people. And as a result of that, we learned what real business is. We negotiated big contracts. We had a manufacturing supply chain. We, had these big customers. Of course, the product was funny, and it's still funny to this day. But all the attributes of a real business were there. We raised some money. We had our legal docs. We had to incorporate all those things that we learned. Really gave me, although I was a college dropout, it really was like an MBA. Chobani was growing successfully. We identified that no one was using Greek yogurt as an ingredient in dessert, and that's where the team work really, happened. She brought a particular skill set to the table. I brought my experiences in a particular skill set, and then we identified the consumer need state of, healthier dessert, and frankly, just Greek yogurt being the ingredient. And at that point, it was, I'm sure most entrepreneurs can relate to this. You don't want to be spread too thin. And that's when I just made the hard decision of I'll continue to do poolside, but my focus will be on Yasso. And of course, that was the right decision looking back. I think a lot of people in great companies as co-founders, they've met just later in life. And that's awesome. Some of the best brands have just kind of happened as 26-year-olds meet. And next thing you know, at 32, they have this, kick-ass brand. That wasn't the case for us. Obviously we met in kindergarten. It created this just like super unique, tight bond of just like a lot of trust in one another and best friends, which is, really special. And I think it's important. I read a stat actually this morning in a book that of entrepreneurship, more than 50% of the successful ones are created by teams, so meaning co-founders. So it's rare for a single person to go out and create something successful. When we launched, the idea that you would even freeze Greek yogurt was something that just we were met with a ton of resistance. On the manufacturing side, people thought it wouldn't, flow through different factories. It would be too thick to go through the pipes. You guys are crazy. You just have to stick to traditional ice cream. But we knew that was like our secret ingredient. So there was a lot of no on that. We had less resistance with retail buyers because Chobani was just so wildly successful in FIA that people knew that Greek yogurt from a consumer need state in America was here in the dairy set, and they were more than willing to give it a try in frozen. So we had less resistance there. But on the manufacturing side, a lot of people just wouldn't give us a shot. Here we were, at the time, I believe, 23-year-old kids going into these large manufacturing facilities, and they didn't think the product would work, but they also didn't know if that we were going to be around to stay. It took off in a lot of ways, and I think the big reason was, frankly, it was just the right product at the right time. What Greek yogurt had done and refrigerated, you can't underscore that enough, because they had taken out one of the hardest things for us to do with the new consumers, to educate them on what the product is. So Greek yogurt, at this point, it's 2011. It took us about 2 years to create the formula, the branding, the name, and build this supply chain. By 2011, Greek yogurt was a household name. People understood, more protein, creamy, it's healthy for me. And we came along with the first ever frozen Greek yogurt. And so that had a lot of benefit. And I think people were willing to pull it off the shelf just because they were accustomed to it, or at least knew of it. To be 25 and just have to stop in your tracks and be like, we could either take the easy road, which is what we're doing right now, or we can do the really hard thing where you're not admitting you're wrong. It's not that at all. It's the willingness to change and pivot in business and entrepreneurship, I think, is super important. And I think that was a year where we had a lot of those type of things go on, and it was a lot of hard work. And from the outside looking in, people probably thought we were just staying the course, but behind the walls of Yasso, with the help of our team and our advisors, we were really fundamentally changing major components of the business. We were frankly very unprofitable. We weren't making money. And that's a no that the business sometimes just yells back at the owner or the entrepreneur, and you get rejection there because it just limits what you could do. So that kicked off about 12 months of really dialing in on our P&L and making sure that not only are we going to make the product better and taste better, but look better. We came out with all new packaging. It was a more vibrant brand. We also need the P&L to, give us more cash flow and get to profitability. And an advisor at the time, a good friend named John Burns, told Amanda and I, you just want to control your own destiny. And a big part of controlling our own destiny in 2014 was getting to profitability. And we did by the end of the year. I think we barely each, got by with like a couple $100,000 at the time. We were in tens of millions in sales, but the couple $100,000 of profitability was a massive moment for us. And then that profitability continued in the out years and just started to compound on itself. Don't be afraid of change. I think if you're gonna set out to build a dynamic, fast-growing brand, there will undoubtedly be change, and you just can't be afraid of that. You can't resist it. I think at a young age, we did a really good job of at least trying to change, but looking back and talking to young Drew or young Amanda, I think there could have been probably faster, quicker change. And I think that's the hard thing for entrepreneurs. It's something you build. And I think one thing we did really, really well is we tried to surround ourselves with really smart people that just frankly knew more than us or could bring an expert or a specialty to the table. But that's sometimes easier said than done. Sometimes it's hard to see kind of the forest through the trees, as they say. So I think taking a deep breath, looking back, and just always kind of knowing what your strategic plan is, but then evaluating your business, listening to other people, and just being willing to change. Frankly, for us, it was that willingness to do that allowed that big year of 2014 across all major parts of the business. You need to stick to the strategic plan and be super disciplined, but you also need to look at the category as a whole and where there are areas of self-improvement for the business or personally, and just be willing to lean into those, and then on top of all that, just make sure you're having fun and taking some time for yourself. Let that compound on itself, and hopefully you end up with a success story.